Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Island Mischief, the Eastport Arts Center podcast. I'm your host, Mark Macey. This month, we feature constituent group Quoddy Voices. I interview the choir's leader, John Newell, as well as a longtime choir member, Jennifer Gillies. And as a special treat, you'll hear some recordings of Quoddy Voices from years past. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Can't get a grip on all that slick, slippery ice? Bruised bottom got you down? Say goodbye to salt, ice cleats, and hospital bills with Marianne's flamethrower footwear. With easy-to-refill propane canisters ingeniously hidden in each pair, you'll soon be blasting through ice and snow with the confidence of an unsupervised teenage boy. Marianne's come in 3 stylish options: boots, slippers, and for an elegant night out, high heels. Marianne's is not responsible for bodily injury or death. Keep away from children. Marianne's, feel the heat.
John Newell is a composer, pianist, and choir director who received his MFA in Composition and Performance from California Institute of the Arts and a PhD in Composition from the University of New York at Buffalo. John has had an accomplished career, including teaching both at the high school and collegiate level, and was the organist and music director for the Congregational Church of Worthington, Massachusetts, for over 20 years. Now as a resident of Down East, Maine, John is the music director for Christ Church in Eastport and a faculty member of Summer Key's adult music program in Lubec. For this episode, I talk with John about his role as founding director of Eastport's own choral ensemble, Quoddy Voices.
Right. It actually started towards Christmas of 2013. Rob Cook had put together a little Christmas program at the Arts Center, and he asked me if I would direct the little choir he had put together. I mean, it was kind of a pickup choir, 12 or 14 singers. And so I said yes, and I directed it and had a great time, and it sort of became a thing. That is to say, I think the singers were interested and had further conversations with Rob, and the idea of, well, let's try a community chorus. That in fact, that's the one thing that Eastport, in a sense, didn't have. Art galleries, yes, a PBSO. I mean, how many small towns have an orchestra, and and Stage East and all this, and there was obviously a lot of interest in the singers that I'd worked with, and a lot of enthusiasm, and so we gave it a shot, and our first concert was June 1st, 2014, and Rob continued on as our accompanist, did a great job while he was doing it. But that's how it came to be. As we started out, we had about 24, 25 singers that first concert, and in fact, the number of singers is held steady. Some seasons we've had like 28, 29. Other seasons 22, 23. I mean, it's we're a small community, and we draw from not just Eastport. That's where we rehearse, but one of our most faithful singers is on Campobello. We can see her house from Eastport.
Yeah.
Look across the bay, and there she is. And she traveled well over an hour to get to us. Singers from Machias, Cutler, Whiting, Lubec. I was living in Lubec at the time, actually. So we were drawing not just from Eastport. And what that did is that there were times where, traveling at night, driving from Machias to Eastport can be a challenge. And so, singers would come and go, and that's to be expected. But we have a wonderful core group of singers, probably a dozen, 12, 14 singers. Every season has been different, but we've held pretty steady from the very beginning. Like I say, that first concert was June 1st. The theme of it was Spring Returns. It was a terrific concert, and every season I feel like it's gotten better, quite honestly. Um,
Yeah, I love hearing about it. Sounded like it was such an organic beginning, and then you form this kind of tight knit group, and there, of course, people come in, people come out, but
yeah.
to have that kind of central group of dedicated people and to be able to sustain that, I think is just such a great accomplishment, and really speaks also about it's one thing to get it going, it's another thing to keep it going.
Keep it going.
So it's really
Right.
cool. Um,
Yeah, we also sort of spawned other groups like Bill Johnson and his group, who he's never named the group. At one point, we called it the No Name No Net. There were 9 singers, might have been
Perfect.
10, might have been 8, and so forth. But they would rehearse, mostly at his house, for example. Um, and then, as you know, Jenny and the Two Barbs recently did their concert in January, and I mean the three of them are, again, very important core members, but people got to know each other and sort of did other things, and or formed other little groups, and it's I just the thing I love most about it is the enthusiasm
Mm,
of singers. I can't say that I've taken it easy on them. That is to say, in terms of the choice of materials,
right.
uh, because we all have different tastes, and in fact, I tried to do a program, make up programs which not it's not accommodating, it's exploring different genres and different styles, whether it's Broadway or whether it's Renaissance counterpoint, or whether it's Mozart or whatever. I've given them some. We've done several very new pieces that have been written for them, and they're up to the challenge. They've always been willing to meet that challenge, and that's been that's been true from the very beginning.
Yeah. Um, I think that gives us a pretty good range of background knowledge about the organization. And I'm really curious. Here we are, a couple of years into this weird pandemic thing, and you've really put in some effort to continue this programming despite that. And so I'm just really interested in hearing about what has it been like trying to adapt to this thing as the head of this organization, and if you talk a little bit about your approach.
From the very beginning, it was a challenge. I will say. We held 2 rehearsals in February, late February, early March of 2020, I think. Right. We just finished our 2019 Christmas concert. And we just started up. The theme of the program was, Maine's bicentennial, and had all the repertoire getting ready to go, and then boom, that was it. And like a lot of members, I thought, well, this will last a few weeks, and we'll pick back up, and whatever. And obviously, the pandemic had other plans, so it was really rough. That for the first few months, I mean, we really didn't start meeting virtually until I think it was like late May. Okay, I it I had to do a lot of research, and of course the state of knowledge was changing very quickly. The choruses were shutting down all over the place. There was all this research being done about aerosols and droplets and things of that nature, and singing versus other activities and so forth. Um, so like just about every other responsible chorus in the country, uh, went virtual. And like I say, I started up in late May of that year, and we held about six or seven Zoom sessions. First time I'd ever used Zoom. Okay, little dicey at first, but and actually started out doing not trying to sing or put together things, but just sort of a kind of basic music theory and music reading, just to kind of help people. In a community chorus, you do have some very experienced singers. Most of the people they're amateur singers and maybe don't read music that well, and so we tried to do what we could to help them develop their skills in that aspect. By fall of 2020, we started up about mid September, and by that point, we knew we weren't going to have a winter concert. So the focus on that was, let's see if we can't do some of these virtual choir projects. That is, everybody record their part at home, send them to me, I'll mix them together, we'll figure out some way to put a video with it, and we'll post it. And so we did. We had 3 basic projects, fall of 2020. It had its challenges. So, first of all, not everybody was interested in participating, and that's fine. I mean, it's people have different comfort levels with technology and so forth, and so we probably had 17, 18 people that season. What's interesting is that and the majority of them were able to put together these tracks. I don't know how technical you want to get about it, but it can be challenging for everybody. That is to say, if you're recording the alto part, well, first of all, what I would do is they would have the music. We would go through it each week. You have certain parts, and then I created practice videos actually, so that I would play the part on the piano, say the alto part, or either sing it and make an audio of that, and then send it to them. Oh no, I made a video. I would play it back to me, and I would practice. I would conduct it, and then they would. In order to practice, they would watch me conducting in this crazy way and hear the audio, and they could sing their part along with everybody else, or along with the keyboard playing the other parts. Okay, so that's challenging enough. Not everybody is comfortable sitting at home singing by themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. But then the second part of the challenge is, if you're going to record your part, you need a phone or a device, and you need a computer. You need 2 devices, and you need to have headphones so that you can hear the guide track, and then you record into your computer, and that you're recording, say, off your computer, and then you send me the MP3 file, and then I mix it. So it's, I would say, throughout that we've maybe 2/3 of the people attending either had the equipment or the ease with it to make that happen. But we got some stuff done. We did 3 projects. We started off very simply with a canon, Dona Nobis Pacem, which a lot of people know it, very easy to sing. And then we proceeded with this folk song, Turn, Turn, Turn. And then our third project was a Mozart piece, Ave Verum Corpus, which again is familiar to people, and it's not that hard. The parts aren't that hard. So, we kept fairly easy parts. In terms of the video for the first one, I just had everybody send me a photo of something that brought them peace, or that they really had a good time with. And so we made a montage. Instead of, with some of these virtual choirs, you record yourself video-wise and audio, and then it's all put together. You might have like 30 singers on the screen, and that takes so much time, and I'm not a technical whiz. It's so we've never done that. We've never done the video part, because that's really the most time-consuming part. But that was, so people would make their parts, send them in, and it would take me a few weeks to kind of get it all mixed and aligned. See, and that's, again, choral singing is about singing together, okay? It's about the voices sounding together in a space. And so everybody, and by the way, I would record the parts too, like the bass and tenor parts. I'd be here in my studio singing into the microphone and so forth. And if you're hearing the guide track, but you don't have 30 people around you. So the blend is something that the technician has to do on the computer, sort of create an artificial blend. So I won't get too much more into technical details, but it was a challenge for everybody. But I think they did a great job. Again, as I said, they're up for the challenge. That's one reason I love working with this group.
Yeah, I think it's they. I agree that they turned out well, and it's fun to hear, even though maybe it wasn't so fun for you all, how much work and care went into each of these things. I think it's such a testament to people, despite these odds, really wanting to continue on. It's
Right.
inspiring.
Yeah, it really was, and I can't wait to do some of these pieces live.
Yeah, that leads us really well into my next question, John, which is what what does the future of Quoddy Voices look like for you? What's in your crystal ball right now?
See, I think right now, over the next 3, 4, 5 months, we're in a transition period. It is. Some choruses across the country have gone back to live rehearsals, mostly masked and so forth, even doing concerts masked. A lot depends on the space you're in, so forth, the ventilation and so forth. I don't have to go into all that, but um, I'm taking it really, really slow here. We're starting virtually next week, actually. We're going to begin to learn some new music and so forth. And if things work out and we feel comfortable, after a couple months, getting together for a few times and have an event. Okay, I'm not promising. I'm not promising, but it would likely be kind of a hybrid event. It's not going to be a full hour and a half choral concert. Probably, what I'm thinking is that it would, perhaps a handful of choral pieces of the whole group, and I don't know who the group is going to be. Again,
Right.
every season we start from we kind of know what the core is going to be, but I have a feeling that could be a challenge this time. But then, like I say, we have these offshoot groups of people doing small ensemble work and maybe in solo work too. So it would be a hybrid, not a full choral concert, but a hybrid, which I think is very appropriate. In the past we've done a couple of winter follies, and boy, we've gotten the participation there. They love doing it. But so I think we're in a state of transition. I can't. I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to rush it.
Mm.
And hopefully by next season in the fall we'll be back to normal. I've got so many plans, and you know I'm
Yeah.
sure every group does. But
Yeah, from
I'm
your
I'm
your
I'm,
work
I'm
throughout
very
the years.
optimistic. I'm very optimistic. Is what's interesting is that on the Zoom sessions, I mean, we had 4 or 5 new members join us. People who have moved to down East Maine from elsewhere. Okay. And who are interested in joining us, and they worked with us and even recorded some virtual tracks and got to be part of the group. It's like, wow. So I'm looking forward to actually meeting some of these folks face to face. But I'm excited about that. And that's the way, that's the way it happens. We do, each season is a little bit different. There's evolution. I was looking at past programs and like names that, the new names that keep appearing and so forth. And that's just the way it is. So I'm very optimistic about the future. I think that community chorus is, again, it's an important aspect of culture in this area, and it draws it draws different people in. It gives them something to do. So there's so many different talents around.
Mm. Yeah, well, I know for us, who, aside from people in the group, Quoddy Voices fans are eager as well, as you said. With all, I think our constituent groups is there's the people it serves who are inside of the group, and then the people it serves who are coming to see the group, enjoying the benefits of having this resource in their community. So I know everybody's really excited to have that in person again, but I think it's great, and you're setting, a standard, not rush back into that, and keep people safe. um I wanted to end off, John, on if you would share, just a memory that you have, something that either tickles you or is just a fond moment from your time with Quoddy Voices, that we could go out on.
Wow, there's so many. I will tell you the one thing that sticks in my memory. It came, at that Christmas concert before we actually formed it. Is this feeling I had at the end of our set. We did like 3 or 4 pieces. Just this, I was actually in front of a group of singers again, looking at me and singing and making beautiful sound. It's like, oh, that was sort of the killer moment for me. And I've always, I can't point to one particular thing. There's been some beautiful, beautiful performances. Every season, like I say, is different, but the one of the parts I really like it on a couple of the concerts, we would march in singing, go down the aisle, start at the back and go down the aisle. And once we got on stage and everybody was singing, it was like, whoa.
Mm.
Again, it's that just that impression of filling the room with sound, and very, very inspiring.
Yeah. Well, that is a great note to go out on. So I think we'll wrap it up there. But thank you again, John, for taking the time out to talk to me. And now, a real treat from their 2016 spring concert, Quoddy Voices sings On a Clear Day. And now, a quick news break.
This just in. Your neighbor reports that the snowstorm a few weeks ago really wasn't that big when you think about it. Early, Big Earl Davis made a point of reminding you of that even bigger storm several years ago that knocked out the power for 3 days. He recounted at length how he had to cook his meals over his butane camping stove and how he had stored his beers in the drift just outside his back door. He went on to describe, with poetic flair, the legend of the plow driver who became stuck out in the willow bags during the storm and had to eat his own foot to survive. He disregarded your clear disinterest in the matter, as he called the storm just plain wimpy. He was kind enough, however, to sign the cast you had gotten a couple of weeks earlier when you were blown down in your dooryard by said wimpy storm. This is your other neighbor, Bob Roberts, reporting. By the way, just between us, your house could use some reshingling.
Jennifer Gillies moved to Pembroke with her husband in 2011. She holds a PhD in physical chemistry from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and was a professor for 13 years at Siena College before joining a startup company developing applications for semiconductor nanoparticles. She is now happily enjoying life singing, birding, hiking, and cross-country skiing. She sings with the Dennysville Festival Choir, Quoddy Voices, The Nine, and more recently, Jenny and the Barbs. We talked about her time in Quoddy Voices. All right. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for taking the time out to talk to me today.
Hi, Mark. It's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited. Just jumping right in, I think the first thing is just to ask how you got into singing.
I was real active in music in high school, and elementary school and middle school. But when it came time, I was deciding when I was going to go to college, what to major in. It was music or science. And I decided on science. And I figured I would still be involved in music, but I just let it go forever. And it wasn't till I retired and we moved up here in blah, 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 blah. I'm terrible on dates, but like 2011-ish kind and that I got involved in music again, and it was it's just been great. I just kind of blocked out that whole side for a really long time. So my first foray back into music was with the Dennysville Festival Choir. There was an ad in the Quoddy Tides, and I started singing with them. And then one of the women, Eleanor Kennedy, was singing with them, but she was also singing with Quoddy Voices, and she thought I might really enjoy it. So that's when I started with Quoddy Voices.
Yeah, that actually leads me right into the next question, which is how you got involved there. So that's great. That answers that. After you joined Quoddy Voices, what was it about the group that made you want to kind of stick around?
Well, gosh, there's a social and the musical part. I mean, I think we're really good. And so musically, I just really, really enjoy it. And it sort of stimulated me to like pursue music more. So I went to summer keys to see like what a voice lesson would be like. And then I really enjoyed that. So I started taking voice lessons, and I'm still taking voice lessons. So it's become a really big part of my life. And so being able to be with other people singing is the best. It's just really the best. On the other hand, too, it's social, because I really enjoy the company of the people that I sing with. And it's been great. Like, so during the pandemic, like, as you know, even though we probably shouldn't have, three of us got together and sang, and it's just really been very important aspects of my life.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's for so many people in the arts, this kind of dual purpose of, the one thing of getting to do this thing I really love, but also this second thing you mentioned, which is the social aspect of it, which has become so important during this really strange time. And it actually leads me to ask, what has Quoddy Voices been like during this pandemic? We talked to John a little bit about what it was like from his end. I'm wondering, as a participant, what was it like for you to be kind of on a virtual Quoddy Voices season?
Well, singing wise, I mean, it was good. It kept us involved, but it's a little frustrating to not be singing really with people and hearing them. But it was good because it like each Monday night when I sign in, and I'd see all of the people that I do sing with, and I learned a lot too. Like I learned some new pieces. John had to work so hard to merge all these pieces and let everybody sending their own recordings in. And then we had Mary Sullivan giving some like really, really good lessons, basically. So it's been good, but not as good as the real thing.
Yeah. What are you hoping, as we maybe start to see some light at the end of the tunnel? What are you hoping for the future of Quoddy Voices?
I would love for us just to get back to where we were before the pandemic and meeting every week. And, I'm hoping that John will keep at it. It's so much work for him, but I mean, it's really been a really important part of my life since I joined Quoddy Voices, and I would just like to keep on going. It'd be fun if we, did, I don't know, I think we're good enough to go and compete, but that's just another whole headache for John. So I won't put it out there too strongly.
Well, yeah, it's you manifest it. Yeah. Well, great. I think just to close out, I'm wondering if you have a favorite memory or story from your time with Quoddy Voices that you would share.
Yeah, when I saw that question, I was thinking about that, and I kind of feel like it should be something musical, but there's so many, to me, like really wonderful musical things, because having left music so early, I don't know much about music. So besides the singing, just learning about different, great pieces and all, it's been great. So that's too many to talk about. But at one point, I don't remember what year it was, but my husband had a bad accident. And it was a couple of weeks after we had started our rehearsals. And so I didn't go to rehearsal for quite a few weeks. And I mean, I heard from people on email and stuff. But when he was finally able to stay by himself, and I came back to rehearsal, and it was just, I can't even express how the reception and just how good it felt to be seeing everybody and to be singing again. It was, it really drove home to me how important Quoddy Voices is to me.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely. That's so great. Thank you for sharing that. I think that really exemplifies what I've heard John express, what I've heard other people in the group express, and I know for us who come and see you all sing and perform, it's a similar warm, fuzzy feeling. So
that's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for taking the time out, and good luck on the future Quoddy Voices endeavors. I know we're all excited to see what happens next.
Thank you. We're all really excited to see too.
And now, the news.
Hello, it's Perry Peepers here with the Porch Side Report, your exclusive source for what I've been seeing from my porch today. Well, actually I'm in the house now by the wood stove, but I've got a big window here to look out of. But mud season will be here soon anyhow. Yep. Let's see. Today I did see a suspicious vehicle driving around the street. Yep. They drive a little and stop and point and drive a little more and stop and point. At first I thought it was strange. Thought maybe they were, casing the joint. But then I saw the plates. California. They were looking at a house a few blocks down, actually. It's been up for sale. So I went and took the sign down and I waved it at them. It's been sold! Nothing against Californians or anything. They just got their coast and, well, I've got mine. Yeah. Anyway, yep, that's about it. Better go get another log in the fire. This has been Perry Peepers with the Porch Side Report.
Thanks to John Newell and Jennifer Gillies for appearing on the show. Thanks again to John Newell for providing a recording of the choir for this episode. Moose Island Mischief is edited by Mark Macey and produced by Eastport Arts Center. Check us out at eastportartscenter.org. Our ads and news items are read by our radio acting troupe, the Moose Island Players. That's Rick Craig, Brian Schuth, and Jenny Smith. And remember, if you're ever wicked far down east, come and see us. Bye!